All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular board meeting of Dundee Township for January 2026. I call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Jay?
Here.
Trustee Drake?
Here.
Trustee Fixmer?
Here.
Trustee Harney?
Here.
Supervisor Shaw?
Here. Thank you. We have a quorum. Now I'll ask Madam Clerk to lead us with Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
I was going to motion to move public comment to after item number 7, the reports.
After the reports?
Yeah.
Okay.
After
Yes.
6?
After the
It's after the
after the
reports.
reports.
After the reports. So
I'll
2, number
second
7.
Okay.
I'd like to make an amendment to that motion. I'd like to also move the task force resolution, the general assistance resolution, and the appointments for the 708 board to item number 7 after the reports.
Second.
Trustee Day, were you the second on the
Oh,
original
yeah.
motion?
The first one, yeah.
So do you concur with the amendment?
The amendment.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. All right, so the motion to move public comment was made to number after reports, and the resolution for open space, general assistance, and what else was that?
Appointments. For the
Appointments for mental health board has been moved to after number 7, is that correct?
After the,
Approval of-
After reports.
After reports.
Little, just to be clear, it'll go, next will be presentations, and then reports, and then public comment, followed by the 3 agenda items.
Okay, that sounds good. So it was motioned by trustee Drake and seconded by trustee Day. Okay, all in favor? Or-
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so our next item will be presentation. Mr. Caius is our first presenter today, President of Forest Preserves of Kane County. Mr. Caius, you have the floor, sir.
Gee, number 1. Well, it's been a while, so a lot of things have been happening. I'm Chris Caius. I'm one of your representatives from Dundee Township at the county. My district is 23, which is the south part of Algonquin, north part of Carpentersville. And just a few quick updates on things that might be relevant and interesting to the township. Since the last meeting, we have bison in Kane County. I'm sure you must have heard about it probably if you were on Facebook. I think we normally have 500 hits or something on our Facebook thing, and we had over 1 million people from everywhere seeing our beautiful 6 buffalo bison that came in, and we released on the 13th of, a little earlier, it's so long ago already, of December. And so that's, I think, the biggest news item from the Forest Preserve. We have had some more acquisitions, so we're now over 24,000 acres of Forest Preserve in Kane County. A couple other items that you may have heard about, but I'll just remind you of. Kane County has launched a new public safety alert system. If you're interested in what's emergencies that are happening in Kane County, you can go to Kane County Office of Emergency Management, which is kcoem.org, and sign up. It's very easy. I'm signed up. You get reports on emergencies, weather, and other things, alerts that maybe, and you can pick specifically what you want to hear about too. So that's something we're doing, and I'm sure you're aware that the Kane County has introduced a countywide coordinated paratransit system program for our long-time Ride Cane program, which brings it all into one unit and for coordinating travel all over the county for those that need rides. I think that's going to be a really important thing, and we'll hope it runs smoothly. And you can go to paceplus.com, find out more information about that, routes and things and how to do that. Get signed up. And then the King County Health Department is partnering with Family Service Association of Greater Elgin to expand mental health first aid training countywide. Participants will learn the warning signs and things about how to define and support people in need of mental health issues, having mental health issues. It's for educators, first responders, nonprofit staff, municipal employees, and the like. We're working with FSA, Family Service Association of Greater Elgin, and that's at fsaelgin.org. And then I think I saw Shafali there, and I hope some other people made it to our opening of our brand new building in the northern end of the county for the health department, at 2170 Point Boulevard, off of Randall and I-90. Now you don't have to go all the way to Aurora to service, although it's not open to the public. The health department's not completely open to the public, but they're staffed out of there right now, and I expect we'll have all of the modifications done by mid-summer or late summer next summer to have the health department fully functional in this end of the county. But the county clerk's office, the county clerk opened an office, and the clerk is also in there at that same location, just down from the bus stop, and you'll see just the other day, improvements on crosswalk access from the bus station to the Point Boulevard address. Any water? Okay. And then on the countywide things, also county just this last week approved a new regulation for short-term rentals in unincorporated areas where they're going to be licensed. Because we've had some issues in the unincorporated areas about renting properties through some of the Verbo-style Airbnbs. And this will bring it into county supervision so we can control what's going on. We also passed a noise ordinance, which I know a lot of people in the unincorporated area are interested in hearing about. It'll allow the sheriff to be able to monitor and enforce noise disturbances. And also a trespass ordinance. So I think the biggest news, of course, the biggest news is the bicycle zone. Also the STRs, the short-term rentals is a big issue in that area. And that's my report. Unless you have questions.
One question, Chris. Will the sheriff be able to control people who are using their yards for firing ranges in unincorporated areas? The gunfire?
That's another tough issue. This is for noise ordinance, yeah, if they'll be able to, what it allows for is the monitoring with instruments to determine the amount of level, and it has to be within a certain point. And so, yes, if they're making a lot of noise with the firing ranges, this should affect that. The safety and things should be, it should be a no-brainer, but still, we're still working with issues on gun enthusiasts to make sure that it's safe. But mostly it's designed for parties or loud things. Also vehicles, things like that as well, keeping people awake at night. So it's just to put something you might see in a municipality closer to the individuals, since it's getting more and more crowded in King County and the unincorporated area. So unless you have other questions, thank you for letting me speak, and good job. Keep going there, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caius.
Is the amplifier turned on?
Can't hardly hear it. We can't hear it. Even with my hearing aids, I can't hear it.
No. Now it is?
Do it again.
Okay. Okay, so no more questions for Mr. Caius. We will close that presentation. Our next presentation is from Nancy Zettler and Dave Reese regarding the Open Space Task Force. Ms. Zettler, Mr. Reese, thank you for being with us this evening. The floor is yours.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Zettler. I am a resident of of Dundee Township. Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. I'm going to do all the talking for two reasons. One, I'm a lawyer and you can't shut me up anyway. And second, Dave Shaw. That's what
Hopefully that's better.
So we are here tonight because, and also I'm suffering from the same plague that Mr. Henry.
Don't make me laugh, please.
I'm not talking as much, my voice is trashed, so. We are here in support of starting a task force to, and I want to right up front just say, unequivocally, I am not against open spaces. I support open spaces. I always have, I always will, right? But the problem that we've seen is that, at least that I've seen and David sees, that we have many, many, many questions about how things are run, how things are paid for, where money is coming from. I am, sorry. Sorry about that. Where money's coming from, how it's spent, what projects are considered, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Another question that we have, and I've been looking at documents as much as I possibly can, have been able to, and this is not just open spaces, this is the township as a whole. There is no apparent organizational structure here. And you ask, like for instance, back in October, I filed a FOIA to ask for some documents that were required to be filed by open spaces on a yearly basis during the time of the that the bonds were run and the land was being purchased. And they have not been able to find them. And there's just, you can't just go find, you can't find anything really, I mean, very little. And so I think that there also has to be, and I'm not saying that that's anything that's anybody in this room has done, but over the years, there just has not been a sufficient organizational aspect to this. I've heard a couple of things that from different people have called me, and which is I'm grateful for. I'd like to know because I don't want there to be misinformation out there. Number one was that I am not against, like I said, I'm not against open space, and I don't believe Dave is either. I'm also in support of making sure that it's continued to be taken care of, et cetera. I just want to know where the money is coming from and where it's being spent. Because honestly, I've looked through as many of the financial documents as I can find. I cannot find a trail of that shows where the money is coming from and where it goes. And like you can for the assessor's office, you can for 708 board, you can for the cemetery. There's just not a finite area where you can look and find all this information. The other thing is that the other thing is we are not doing this because we're trying to give Shefali any power to run this or organize it or do anything. I mean, even if we wanted to do that, we couldn't because there's no law that supports that, okay? So that's not something we're doing this for. We simply want answers, we simply want transparency, we simply want information, and honestly, we're here, we asked for the task force because out of respect for the board and for the township. We don't have to ask for it. We could start our own group and just start forwarding that kind of stuff, right? But that's gonna cost time and money and resources. And if we can just have some cooperation between us and the township, and we can get some questions answered, and we can do some things, then I think that it'll benefit everybody. Okay. Any questions? I have a mission statement. I mean, I think it's been posted, right? So if you want to refer to that, I'll read some of it. I don't want to spend too much time here. Open Space Task Force will be established to review and strengthen the open space program to ensure it reflects current best practices, fiscal responsibility, and evolving community needs. As the program is long-standing, a comprehensive review is needed to identify necessary updates and changes. The task force will evaluate existing policies, operations, and outcomes to ensure continued compliance, effectiveness, and long-term sustainability. The task force will also explore opportunities and innovation, including potential revenue-generating strategies in coordination with the open spaces groups that are out there now. Nothing, while maintaining the core mission of public access and stewardship. All recommendations will be developed with a strong commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, ensuring equitable access, representation, and benefits across communities. Additionally, the task force will assess the feasibility and desirability of program expansion, identifying areas where growth or enhancement could better serve residents and align with long-term goals. Key objectives: review current open space program policies, operations, and outcomes, ensure compliance with applicable regulations and best practices, evaluate fiscal sustainability, and identify cost efficiencies, and explore appropriate revenue-generating opportunities, integrate DEI principles into the program evaluation and recommendations, assess opportunities and constraints for program expansion, provide actionable recommendations for short and long-term improvements to the board. Open Space Task Force is made up of community residents who support the open space program and recognize the environmental benefits it provides. And task force members serve on a volunteer basis, ensuring there is no cost to taxpayers. We are not going to spend a penny to do this. If there's no questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
When you refer to income or money generating, situations, what are you referring to?
Like, for instance, maybe researching grants and things like that.
Okay, so you're not referring to using any of the open space land for passive recreation or any other, money generating situations on the open space properties?
That's not one of our goals. I don't know if something will come up. I know that there was a trail ride or something. Yeah. And stuff like that. But I don't think, I'm talking about, at least personally, I'm talking about things that'll generate large sums of money so that we can use it to do things like they have their present project that they're interested in. Something
Like
that.
what, for instance? Just so I understand.
Well, wetlands mitigation for development, that's one thing. But there's a number of revenue streams that.
I can answer that. I'll take that. So grants, for example, they want to explore some grants that we have not been able to do. That would be helpful. There is also wetland mitigation banks that we want to work with the Forest Preserve, have somebody come out and check out all our properties to see if we have some money generating opportunities there. That would be great. So that money could then be used to restore and what have you. So what we're doing, it would just not be taken, it wouldn't burden the taxpayers. Okay, so no more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, our final presentation is from Philip Flores Jr., founder of Cremation by Water, member of Village of Arlington Heights Environmental Commission, and trustee of Wheeling Township's Arlington Heights Cemetery. Mr. Flores, thank you for being here with us this evening. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for coming. All right. Boy, that's a tough act to follow, let me tell you. Hello, everybody. It's nice to meet you. So I'm Philip. Thank you for having me, trustees, and I'm going to face you, the audience, okay? Today's presentation is to go ahead and provide some insight on how do we better use space and how do we do things that are sustainable, but more importantly, how do we remove the burden on citizens who have to pay taxes, right? How do we go ahead and convert a process into being a profit center versus a cost center? And I'm going to hit on some of those ideas. Tonight's objectives are listed above. I hope you guys can see them clearly. If not, I'm going to go ahead and walk through what they are. I'm going to give you some quick insight. But today the townships, and this is too important for me to skip, so I'm going to read. Normally I'm just flying by the seat of my pants when I talk to an audience. But Dundee Township already is a champion about open space preservation and environmental responsibility. Pet ownership is widespread. When pets pass, families need a dignified, local, and environmentally responsible option. Without the township support for infrastructures, families are forced to unregulated backyard burials, distant corporate facilities, and doing things like throwing their pets away in garbage. And that's what happens, because I see it as it goes to landfills through Groot and other recycling companies. Here's my message for you guys. An eco-friendly farewell for pet cemeteries is not about adding another cemetery. It's about providing responsible land stewardship, community service, and sustainable memorialization. All right, let's take it off with the very first top bullet point that I have there. And I want to go ahead and define what exactly a pet cemetery looks like. A designed, township-supported pet memorial space designated around environmental protection, not traditional cemetery infrastructure. There's no concrete, there's no embalming chemicals, no permanent headstones required on an ongoing basis, and it's a natural landscape for native plants and biodegradable memorial options. Let's talk about how it differs from other pet cemeteries. Traditional pet cemeteries often mirror what you do on the human side, which has heavy infrastructure. Eco-friendly pet cemeteries operate a low-impact, conservation-style memorial space. The land remains usable and environmentally productive. So why does this matter to this township, and or why should it? It protects the soil and the groundwater, which is number one and important. It preserves the green space for aesthetics. Thirdly, it aligns with the long-term land conservation goals that this township has. Let's look at the second bullet point that I have up there, community demand and public service responsibility. Over half of households have pets. Families increasingly treat their pets as family members. When loss occurs, they want dignified and ethical options. The real gap that we have today is that many townships don't offer structured pet aftercare options. Families tend to resort to background burials, as I mentioned before. Township opportunity here falls into this category. It provides residents with local, trusted solution. It reduces improper burial practices, and it really strengthens the residents' satisfaction and the community trust. Let's take a look at the environmental benefits of the township cemetery. So, at the end of the day, it's designated as a dual land use, memorial space, and it's preserved by green space. It's minimal irrigation and requirements. Love the fact of having native plants because that's part of who we are as an entity. There's no chemical embalming agents, no controlled burial deepening in the space, and it prevents contamination of risk associated with unregulated processes like backyard burials. The common impact for reduction: it encourages water cremation and biodegradable memorial options. It reduces the reliance on flame cremation for pets. And I want to make sure I'm clear here. If we were to cremate a pet, that produces anywhere between 28 to 200 pounds of CO2. That's like putting your mouth on the back of an exhaust pipe and expecting to live, right? That's the reality. And I wanted to pause and emphasize that because that's why we have to listen to what scientists have been telling us for 30 years and we've not paid attention. And that's why we're paying these dire consequences. So let's take action. Let's get into it. So let's integrate with eco-friendly farewell options. There's 3 services that come to mind from my perspective. Green pet burial, natural returning to the earth, biodegradable containers, and no permanent landfill disruption. Let's talk about water cremation memorial interment. Lower environmental footprint than flame cremation, smaller land footprint for memorial placement, and it allows families flexibilities on how their pets are honored. Thirdly, the memorial gathering place. It's quiet in a reflective zone, small farewell ceremonies, and the community remembrance events. So these are things that can take place to help really distinguish what you guys do compared to other townships. Why does all this matter? It offers families choices, and choices that most families don't have today. It prevents forcing families into just a single option. People need choices. It creates a comprehensive farewell for an ecosystem. All right, so let's talk a little bit about let's talk about how do we manage the revenue aspect, because this is important. How do you generate revenue from this? There's plot usage fees, memorial placement fees, partnership programs, which have a kickback that goes back to this township, which means it reduces the burden on this community. Event-based programming. We have a blank slate on how we can really truly make an impact and help generate revenue through a process that's pretty natural, and do it affordably for people. Less expensive than it would take for if someone decided to do this using a private means. Let's talk a little bit about scalability. It begins with plotting the section, expanding based on demand. So we don't have to go ahead and develop it all out now. We can do a simple portion and then slowly grow as demand grows. That reduces any upfront expenses. And what's important here is this is a self-sustaining public service model, not a financial burden on this community. Here are my closing comments. Dundee Township already invests in the environmental protection. Its residents value sustainability. This aligns with community priorities and the future focus of governance. An eco-friendly farewell pet cemetery positions Dundee at Township as a regional leader in compassionate and sustainable public service. This is not about creating more cemetery land. It's about creating better use of the land and a better community service that's a better environmental legacy. Advance the next slide. I now open up the floor to the committee as well as the board, as anybody here that's standing for the audience.
Where are we putting this pet cemetery?
All right, so I'm going to start off by saying I am not part of your community, okay? So you're going to be utilizing part of your existing cemetery property. You guys have designated land that's in the, forgive me, is it the northeast quadrant of land that's parceled out and already separated. There's great ideas that have come to this board, through the cemetery board, on how this separation can take place to also showcase this for the community. I hope that answers your question.
Sure. And then how much does it cost the resident to bury their pet?
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and reemphasize, I am not part of your community, so I can't tell you what the cost structure is developed, but I'm pretty sure that the team behind me is going to go ahead and spell that out, okay?
Okay.
Okay, any more questions from Mr. Flores from the board? Oh, Assessor, go ahead.
I have a question too. So give me the details, how does this work?
Sorry.
It's okay. Is it water accumulation or what?
Yeah, so, is this wireless? Perfect,
Yes.
I love walking around. So, as it relates to how does this work? Well, what I want you guys to picture for a quick moment is there's multiple options for green burial, right? So what does that mean? Green burial means, by definition, you're taking a body, right? I hate using the term embalm because most people think about humans, right? So anything we put into the earth has to be good for the earth, right? Mother Nature uses all her different elements to break down that precious little body before all we have is bones, right? But what's really important is for a body to break down, it can take anywhere between years. Depends on the size of our pet, right? A small pet can take 3, 4, 5 years to break down. A pet that weighs 200 pounds is going to take the better part of 25 years to break down, right? Before we can, it's not just the body breaking down and before we have bones. More importantly, from the sustainability perspective, it's really when can we repurpose that ground to grow, let's just say, a tomato bush, right? That's what I refer to as the full cycle of decomposition. That's how long it takes. But could a person go ahead and have their pet water cremated? I happen to know a thing or two about water cremation. But could they do that? Yes, they could. Why is water cremation a good thing? It's sustainable, there's zero emissions, and you get back 100% of just your pet's remains. But the end product is the equivalent of fertilizer, which means we can take this, have it in a biodegradable urn, like a human niche. It can be dug up, placed in the ground, and that could be the farewell for the family. If you really want to get crazy, there could be a scattering garden, because this is just throwing nutrients back into Mother Nature, into Mother Earth. That's what can be done with this. Does that answer your question? Fantastic.
Mr. Flores, I have one question for
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
So as far as green burials of humans go, can you tell me when will that land be reusable again?
Great question. So the example I just gave, let's talk about humans specifically. So a human body will take anywhere between 25 to 32 years to break down here in the Midwest, right? Why is that? We've got nothing but seasonality here, right? We've got winter, summer, etc., right? If we lived in Louisiana, it would take 7 to 9 years, right? What's the difference? They've got humidity. That's the difference. So it's a shorter cycle, and the benefit behind doing something like this is if you guys introduce a green burial even on the human side, these graves don't have to sit there and reside with one person forever. I don't know if you guys know what the stats are, but how often does a family go to visit a loved one that passed away? How many generations go visit a person? I got the stats for you. It's 2 generations, not more than 3, right? And that's posted information. So now you've got this casket that sits in a vault that's in the earth, and it sits there forever, right? I happen to be on the board for a cemetery, and I can tell you that we just don't see anybody coming through for some of the original graves, right? Why? Because people become transient. Has nothing to do with lack of love or appreciation. They just choose to remember someone differently. So, if we introduce something like a green burial, what does that do? That allows us to go ahead and perhaps come up with a grave and say you can turn it over within 50 years, right? That's what I call sustainability. Any other questions?
Just one last question.
Please.
So are green burials ideally overall cost, right? Are they cheaper or more expensive?
Great question. So if you were to look at a private cemetery, it's typically a little bit more expensive, right? But what does the benefit of a township have to do? You guys control what you do with your township. You guys can dictate what that cost is. The maintenance cost for the land itself, a lot less, right? It's actually no differently than how you maintain the rest, because it's just grass growth. But you're not using gas for heavy machinery, for any other moving. You still have to open up the earth, right, as you do for any other burial. But that's it. And if we can maintain things at a neutrality and make this more sustainable by turning it over, we're achieving something here, right? Now we're forward thinking.
That's all from me, sir. Anybody else on the board has questions?
Did the cemetery board already approve this?
We'll talk about that at the next presentation, the report.
You can't answer if the cemetery board's already approved this.
They have approved the next stage. It doesn't just happen. We have a lot to do.
I'm questioning why we, okay.
Yeah.
We had a preliminary conversation is what we did.
I'm wondering if you're suggesting that if you put native vegetation on top of these graves, that will require no work at all?
Well, so like anything else, there's parameters whenever you guys create a new policy, right, for something. And it's like having a piece of parcel land, right? What does the township do with it, right? Do you go ahead and just immediately plant something? No, because it's got to be maintained. So that's a policy that can be determined by the township on how they want to treat that piece of parcel. I'm very careful in saying that any cemetery should allow anybody just go to plant, because there is a landscaping crew that comes in to cut the grass, and it creates an obstacle, and it can grow into something that could potentially have to be taken down in the future. So having those parameters in place helps things out. Next question.
That's all, Mr. Flores.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, and with that, we will close this portion of the meeting. Okay, our next portion of the meeting is reports. Okay, so our first report is cemetery.
Good evening. Supervisor, Trustee, Council, Assessor, residents, thank you so much for coming in today. My name is Vikar, and I'm the Cemetery Administrator. And today I have a pleasure to give our first report. It's been a great year so far for cemetery staff. This week we have 4 burial services scheduled, as we are expecting incredible cold and freezing weather. Have you ever know or wonder how we prepare the ground during this freezing weather? During the winter months, from December till I would say March or April, frozen ground requires a special preparation before the graves can be opened. The cemetery staff uses ground warming oven. Hero is behind me. He's in that picture. Currently, that's what they're doing. It kind of looked like that. Approximately, they use 6 bags of charcoal to gently heat and soften the earth. And this process can take up to 12 hours, I would say, before we even start digging, you know. So this careful time-honored process ensures that graves can be prepared safely and respectfully, even in the coldest condition. We had held a highly productive cemetery board meeting on the 13th of this month. Mr. Flores was there. There was a wonderful presentation by him. And we had a very good discussion with the cemetery board. The cemetery board also, they provided a very valuable input on the budget and gave us the okay to proceed with the next phase for the eco farewell and a pet cemetery. At this time, the proposal is not yet ready for a vote from the township board, as you know, we got a lot of work to do for this section. For layout, pricing, you had a question for that. Structure, and any policy, governing policies are still being finalizing. So our staff is working on currently to gather other data. This expansion will help eliminate the long-term capacity, like Mr. Flores did the presentation. This long-term capacity limitations of the cemetery, as green burial plots may be reused after 50 years. That's 30 to 50 years, what we said. Ensuring the cemetery remains viable and sustainable rather than becoming obsolete. And that's conclude my report for this evening, and thank you for your support. Thank you.
Just any questions for anybody?
I actually have. So the cemetery board, there's 2 seats that are up for consideration, correct, Shapali?
Yes.
So when are you going to start that process?
Soon.
Like within a month or
Yes.
within a couple weeks? Okay.
Okay, so the next report. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
guys.
It's contagious.
So the next report is from Programs Administrator.
Evening Supervisor, Trustees, Council, residents, and friends. My name is Maria. I'm the Director of Programs and Administration for the Township.
Speak into the microphone,
sorry.
would you, Maria?
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just take it on if you like.
Oh, no, thank you. I know we have a lot on our plate tonight, so I'll go fast. So in October, we partnered with A+ Communications to launch a township-wide recycling program. While participation started off slowly, the program has quickly gained momentum and continues to grow in popularity. On the second Saturday of every month from 11 to 3, we offer free recycling for our township residents. The process is simple. Residents can drive up, drop off, and be on their way. It's quick, it's easy, and most importantly, it's free. We really saw the program's growth at our January event, Our social media post was shared 28 times and received over 10,000 views. Attendance was so high that the recycling truck reached capacity, and for the driver's safety, we had to close early. Although we're thrilled with the turnout, we did learn a few small lessons. Some residents missed the early closing post and left their TVs near the dumpster. A+ graciously returned to pick them up, and moving forward, we'll be sure to clearly discourage the practice. I'd like to thank the residents for helping make this program such a success and for supporting a cleaner community.
Maria?
Thank
How do you
you.
check to see if they're residents? When did they drop off?
They're currently...
Are you checking driver's license?
No, they're currently taking, they're...
Anyone from any town, then basically we're taking all their stuff.
We're taking them at their word, but we have been discussing how we can ask for the ID, just to confirm that they're in town.
Okay.
Another highlight has been our Friday Fun Fact Series. Every Friday, we share interesting facts about our open space properties provided by Kirby, our natural areas foreman. He was not able to join us tonight. His posts cover a wide range of topics, from how plants survive the winter to why bats hang upside down, bird migration patterns, and why leaves change color in the fall. These posts have developed a loyal following, averaging about 800 to 2,000 views each week. If you haven't checked them out, be sure to look for Kirby's Fun Facts that we post every Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next report was supposed to be open space, but Kirby wasn't able to make it because of the weather today. And Highway Commissioner's report has also been shared. I assume that he's also out probably plowing. The next one will be Assessor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Belak. I'm the assessor for Dundee Township. I've been the assessor since 2010. Quite a while now. Just a little recap of what we've been up to. We are currently working on we did work on our budget, and that was submitted to Tom and the board. The board should all have that in their packet. We've also been working on balancing our books with the county. We're done with our assessment process for 2025. There was an appeal process, and after that appeal process, the county has to go and finalize their numbers, and then they hand them over to us, and we have to just balance it. Just basically administrative work, but there are errors that we catch and that they catch. So we're tight now. We've got it all figured out. We've also scheduled our classes. Myself and my staff, we are all certified assessment evaluators. That's done through the state of Illinois Property Appraisal Institute. In order to achieve that designation, you need 60 hours of education along with the test and continuing education. So we are taking a week, almost a week for everybody for that continuing education. We're also working on new construction. So January 1st, that's when the assessment date is. Some properties out there are partially completed, and some of them are accessible as of that date, mainly the commercial properties. Residential properties will not become fully accessible until they have a C of O or certificate of occupancy. And this is regarding all the new construction that we're having in the township currently, all the residential townhomes and single-family homes. We're also having to go to one of our villages or municipalities to view the building blueprints and so forth. They have them electronically, but they are not willing to share them electronically, and we have to take our time and go over there to look at their records, which by law they're supposed to be sharing them with us. So it's a hurdle we would like to hopefully mend, that they forward the information to us and save us time and travel to certain municipalities. We are currently also reviewing, this is a non-quadrennial year. We assess every 4 years. 2023 was the last quad, 2027 will be the next. So for this year, it's the last year in the cycle. We're just reviewing outliers of the assessments. We'll look at a subdivision and just look for anything that doesn't fall in line with other assessments on on a value basis. We'll also be going out in the field measuring the new construction. We do use the plans, but we have to go out and double check with a tape or a wheel. A lot of times there are adjustments made, and we have to be accurate, so we do go out to the field and measure houses and commercial buildings. We're waiting on our 2026 factor. We've done a preliminary analysis, and it's still not looking good. We're still looking at roughly a 6% increase for 2026. That would be all the properties in the township receiving a 6% increase in their assessments again. It's, excuse me. It's not a good number. I was hoping for 4, maybe, but 6 kind of surprised me. But that's not final. That's just our internal numbers. The county has the final report, and that will be out in March. I'm also reviewing, currently prioritizing our what we call PTAB, or Property Tax Appeal Board hearings for the properties that filed at the Board of Review, and they were not happy with their results, and they will file with the state. Most of that will be commercial, industrial type properties, bigger properties in the township. And so I'm prioritizing which ones of those that we will focus on and apply additional monies to acquire an MAI appraisal. And we do share that cost when the township gets involved. We do share that cost with either the county or the school district intervener, or actually the municipality also. So I am speaking with one village right now, and we won't know exactly who. We're working on the list, so we'll finalize that in about 2 months. So that's about it I have right now. Any questions from the audience or the board?
Thank you, Assessor. Okay, our next report is from GA. Gabriella, thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gabriella, and I'm the Director of Human Services. Regarding the residents affected on November 29, 2025 by the fire at Meadowdale Apartments, we reached out to Office Manager Rhonda and the Director of Operations Bobby, and coordinated assistance for the 24 residents that were displaced. We provided both emergency assistance and general assistance applications to support the residents during this difficult time. We were informed that approximately 13 residents have renters insurance. However, at this time, we are unable to process any applications as the residents do not currently have any required documents needed to apply for emergency assistance and general assistance. We recognize the hardship this situation has caused for our residents. At this time, we have not been able to provide assistance to any residents affected by this crisis until the resolution is approved. We will remain unable to assist residents moving forward. Every resident should have the right to apply for emergency assistance and general assistance. During my free time, when I do not have any emergency assistance, general assistance appointments, I have been assisting with taking the supervisor's official digital, including all records. The task is 40% completed at this moment. This concludes my report for this evening. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our last report okay, is from Mental Health Board? No?
No, I
Okay.
have a report. I turn this on.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm the president pro tempore for the Mental Health Board, and I have a bunch of things to update you all on. The 708 board met on January 15th, but was unable to convene due to a lack of a quorum. Member Connell was a no-show despite assuring interim administrator Began that he would attend. Those attending waited 15 minutes and tried to get in touch with him. He has not responded to this date to me about that. The board had a full agenda, including interviews for recommendations to the Township Board. Ms. Amelia Velasquez attended and talked to various board members. She is a well-qualified candidate, but we are not able to officially recommend her due to the lack of a quorum. I spoke with her personally and support her nomination, as well as the 3 other candidates interviewed in December. The 708 Board recommendations supporting the appointments of Ms. Dawn R. Muir, Dr. Michelle Wright, and Ms. Amber Cotter, as well as Ms. Velazquez, were forwarded to Township Board members, and copies of their profiles are available to the audience tonight. Please raise your hand and Ms. Began will give you a copy if you are interested. Mr. Kemp did not respond to the board's invitation for an interview, and unfortunately, Mr. Schaefer's application wasn't forwarded to the 708 administrator until yesterday, despite a FOIA to the supervisor's office asking for the names of the applicants. The Township Board members have their recommendations to the 708 Board for the applicants submitted to us. In further news, the office lease documents have been reviewed by our attorney, and we should be able to move forward getting into a new office in the next few weeks. We've been asked to vacate our current space and are making arrangements for a healthier place. On January 29th, the 708 Board will have a special meeting to conduct the business we couldn't conduct on January 15th. It is our fervent hope that the supervisor will appoint new board members who are qualified and acceptable to the township trustees, and that we will have a quorum for that meeting. Fortunately, we are blessed with 4 outstanding candidates to fill the 3 open positions. In addition to the routine business before the board, the following unaddressed items have been moved to the January 29th agenda for board action. The budget. The budget posted last night with the township's budget is from last year. We apologize, but we could not pass the budget without a quorum. Contracting with a permanent administrative director. The ad hoc search committee has completed several months of work and has a contract for a permanent administrative director. That gentleman's name is Dr. Troiani, and as soon as we have another meeting with the quorum, we will be able to complete that contract. We expect to deliver a higher level of service to our residents and our partners with Dr. Troiani's extensive expertise with 708 operations. I want to add a note here that my comments are not meant as criticisms of all the people who have worked so hard to get to this point. Everyone on this board, on the 708 board, both past and present, and the staff past and present, have all really, really worked hard to get to this point. And we are now, we've grown as an organization to the point where we need professional administration, and Dr. Troiani is incredibly qualified to get us to the next level of service for our residents. We also need to approve the work plans for grant recipients. We have 16 of them. The work plans describe the contractual obligations for the grantees and the board over the next fiscal year. Our residents and our service provider partners are ready to go as soon as we get these work plans approved. Obviously, we have to approve the bills. And lastly, we have a review of the police social worker program contract. This has been something in the works for several years. We expect to cover 100% of our residents by hiring a dispatch service used by U46 and many other agencies. This will be a partnership with village first responders to provide social services and/or referrals to residents who have had to call for services from first responders. And finally, I'm excited about the future of this board. It is on the verge of becoming a really strong force to foster comprehensive mental health services for Dundee residents. We have 4 outstanding board candidates and are close to contracting with a man who has a tremendous track record with mental health and public service organizations. We are closing in on a program which will pair mental health support for residents who call for help from our first responders. I became acting president last month, and I am deeply grateful to board members, past and present, staff members, past and present, and the community members who have helped me. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. So with that, we'll close this portion of the meeting. Okay, the next portion of the meeting.
You're going to do public comment now?
Now, public comment?
Correct.
We'll go to public comment.
We have James Gold.
I'm James Gould, and I'm a 35-year resident of Dundee Township and a long-term advocate for the 708 board. In a democracy, elected officials take seriously their sacred trust to enact the will of the voters they represent. In an authoritarian regime, however, they do what they personally want. The voters be damned. 6 years ago, the voters of Dundee Township approved creating and funding a 708 board by a 2-to-1 margin. Why? Because they knew that their needy neighbors couldn't access mental health services locally, but had to travel to Elgin or McHenry County. Providing services in the township is what voters want. And it's starting to happen. In a few weeks, the Association for Individual Development will open child and family counseling offices in West Dundee. These services are funded by the 708 board. Real people with real needs will be given desperately needed help. People who are our neighbors, our families, our co-workers. You, as township board members, may personally disagree with the need for a 708 board, but that is irrelevant, since your public duty is to do what the voters want done. You should support the 708 board in 2 ways. First, I'm asking you to fully fund the 708 board. Voters 6 years ago said clearly that they are willing to pay a small property tax to help their needy neighbors. Freezing 708 funding at less than half of the approved levy goes against what voters want. Frankly, it's undemocratic. Second, you should appoint qualified members to the 708 board. People who know the mental health field. Suppose your car needs a brake job. Who would you pick to fix it? Your neighbor who doesn't know a brake pad from an oil filter? Or a licensed and experienced mechanic? That decision isn't rocket science, nor is picking the best qualified people for the 708 board. It's just common sense. As Sue just pointed out, you have 4 excellent candidates, and I know you're all familiar with their resumes. 4 individuals with professional credentials and extensive work experience in the mental health field. And you apparently have 2 candidates with no background in mental health who don't understand the issues and don't know how service agencies work. The choice of 708 board members is obvious. So please be sensible and responsible. High-quality services depend on high-quality board members who oversee them. The well-being of real people depends on your appointments to the 708 board. Thank you. Thank you. 311.
Carol Warehammer?
Hello, my name is Carol Weinhammer. I have been a Dundee Township resident for over 48 years, and I'm also the steward of Dixie Brooks Nature Preserve. I've seen a lot of changes in those 48 years, but one of the best things that I've seen is when the referendum was passed in 1996 to create the open space properties. I remember trying to explore Dixie Briggs with my 4 children shortly after the purchase in 1998. It was so overgrown with invasive trees and shrubs you could hardly walk it. I never ventured too far because I was afraid I would get lost and I wouldn't find my way back home. You see, because you were surrounded by a wall of honeysuckle in all directions, at least 15 feet tall, you couldn't see where you were going more than 15 feet in front of you. In addition, there were several old rusty trucks in the creek that had been dumped along with other trash, making it unsafe for a family to walk. Now 27 years later, it is a safe place to walk with your family and your dog. I have 2 work days a month. the volunteers have started a tradition of singing the Louis Armstrong song, "It's a Wonderful World," because we are so thankful for the township's most valuable asset, our open spaces. This is the way our community feels about this land. Under the expert direction of Kirby, the Township Open Space Foreman, June Keebler, Sue Bone, Suzanne Massey, Nico D'Alessandro, and many others of the volunteers, these properties have blossomed quite literally. We have seen birds, insects, pollinators, wildlife, and native flowers coming back that have not been seen for many years. This is not just luck. It is because of all the blood, sweat, and tears that a very dedicated group of volunteers and staff do every day, all year round, even in the frigid winter temperatures. I applaud the volunteers and staff for a job well done, but we can't stop there. There is still a lot of work to be done. So let's roll our sleeves up and get to work. I ask that the township stop putting obstacles in our way and instead work with us. This is called teamwork. Let these qualified people continue to improve these valuable and irreplaceable properties that enrich our community and attract families to the township. With the staff.
Ms. Heinheimer, your time is up. Your time is up.
Let's finish.
So we have to let everybody go on. So my recommendation would be, instead of letting everybody go on, we'll be here for 5 hours.
Thank
We
you.
let one person do it, we gotta let everyone do it, so.
Cindy Janata?
Can you give me that paper?
Okay, is it too loud? No, it's okay.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me. Good evening. Supervisor Shaw, Board of Trustees, residents. I'm Cindy Chermata. I'm a regular visitor at Dundee Township Open Spaces and attend many of the events like the bird walks at Dixie, the insect walk at Salamander Springs, and the moon walk at Chelsea Bird Sanctuary. As I walk along the paths, I find solace, peace, and beauty. During COVID, Dundee Township expanded Raceway Woods parking lot to give residents a safe place to gather. And to this date, the parking lots are still packed with residents. We are hearing so much about why connecting to people to nature is so important. Mental health experts are finding that a 30-minute walk in the woods can reset your mind, lower anxiety, lower blood pressure, and much more. One with nature is a proven fact, and I implore all of you to take a break from your busy schedules and visit our beautiful open spaces. So, my question is, why do we need to implement a task force to oversee Dundee Township Open Space Program when we already have a successful and effective open space program that offers residents a safe place to walk, play, and enjoy beauty? We already have many experienced and accomplished and hardworking stewards and staff at our open spaces. Each of our open space stewards collectively have many, many years of experience in botany, plant identification, seed collection, environmental preservation, and restoration. We also have over 200 dedicated residents who have volunteered hundreds of hours working to restore and maintain our beautiful open spaces. The open space program works, and in 2025 alone, its stewards and volunteers have saved Dundee Township over $35,000. Thank you.
Suzanne Massey?
My name is Suzanne Macy. I'm an Algonquin resident and a volunteer botanist for the Dundee Township Open Space Program. Trustees, I urge you to vote no on the request to approve Open Space Task Force. I will emphasize only a few of my reasons among many. You ran for office as a supporter of the Open Space Program. Open space properties created by referendum for over 20 years have been successfully managed with proven conservation practices for their native plants, animals, and ecosystems, and for many passive recreation activities enjoyed by township residents. More importantly, our natural areas have a legal imperative. Most of the properties are officially and permanently protected by the state of Illinois as either a nature preserve buffer, land and water reserve, or by binding easement agreements with Kane County or with the original sellers of the properties. And some properties were even partially purchased with state matching funds. Therefore, it is legally required that these lands be managed and used in the way that township staff and many volunteers have done for more than 20 years with approved township dollars and with significant in-kind contributions of volunteer time and talent. More than $5 million in grants have been awarded to the township by public agencies specifically for natural area management as it's being done. These funds and efforts must be honored and continued. These lands are in the public trust. Their use cannot be changed without a lengthy process and a public vote, not by a panel of 5 individuals accountable only to the supervisor. The cost of any effort to legally justify a change of use would be huge, but more importantly, would betray the public trust that has been in place all these years. Dundee Township residents in large numbers in numerous ways have shown that they love and value their natural areas. Just ask them. Thank you.
Domenico D'Alessandro.
Good evening. My name is Domenico D'Alessandro. I've been a volunteer for Dundee Township for many years, and I've been involved in some of the projects that have taken place in the open spaces. When I read the proposal for a open space task force under the exclusive authority of the township supervisor, I quickly remembered that there is a law, and it was specifically intended to stop that from happening. This has been tried before in other townships. Supervisors have tried to take over the control of open spaces for personal reasons, for budgetary concerns, but mostly it's been for personal gains. So when I read this, I said, this is a red flag. And I did some research. So there is a law that's actually became law on January 1st that was specifically prompted because of this issue with supervisors trying to take over. So the law states it prevents unilateral decisions by township supervisors to repurpose or sell public lands designated as open space, thereby ensuring that voter intent is preserved. The legislation requires both the township board and voters to approve any changes to the use or sale of these lands. This law supports the protection of smaller ecologically significant parcels and facilitates long-term stewardship for conservation and agriculture. Its passage ensures that public lands reserved for open space remain safeguarded for future generations. So my question to Supervisor Shaw and to the people that I was surprised by the kind and wonderful wrapping that they put around their proposal, because if you read the initial proposal, it had nothing to do with what they said. So the only thing that I got from their presentation is that they're willing to contribute money, to raise money for the purpose of restoration. Wonderful. But we already have an organization for that. It's called Friends of Dundee Natural Areas. We are raising money. Carol will have the exact numbers, but this year we spent more than $50,000 raised, not by taxes, by volunteers, by people that personally donated, and so forth. We also have an affiliation with the Conservation Foundation, one of the largest foundations in the land, who has helped us achieve goals to reach more grants and so forth. And I believe it's 6,000 the last time and 10,000 some other time. I mean, it's growing. So I welcome you who said that you're willing to raise money. You don't need an open land, an open space forum for that.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Yes, I know, but you didn't cut off them. So
We did.
I'm
He did,
gonna
sir.
break this.
Sir,
You are under, okay.
Sir, please.
The problem
Please.
here is that you are gonna break the law. If this.
Sir, you're
if
breaking
you
the law right
pass-
now.
if
Sir, I'm
you
gonna ask you to
pass-
please, if we
you
can
pass
turn off the
this
microphone.
cut off the mic.
Yeah.
If they pass.
sir,
You're-
your time is
You're out
up.
of order, sir.
this,
Sir, you're out of
they're
order.
gonna break the law. That means that
Sir,
Can we call the next?
Supervisor Shaw,
please,
the trustees, all
Please,
in
sir.
favor of that, are liable.
Can we call the
for
next
law.
person?
It will put the township under
You can.
liability.
Madam
It
Clerk,
will
can we
put
call the
itself
next person,
under
please?
personal liability.
George J. Johnson.
And we have the power to expel them from that if they do this. Thank you.
I don't even get it like this.
all you have to do is say stop if they don't stop that.
I'm George Johnson,
You've just been making up.
50-year plus resident.
Could you speak in the microphone?
Oh, I'm not loud enough, really?
No, no. Even you, George.
People usually complain the other day. 50-year resident of Dundee Township. I'm a retired 8-year township trustee, open space steward, and many-year volunteer in open space. And I'm here with many of our fellow residents to challenge the proposed open space task force resolution as written, which is what we saw before this meeting. This decision should be a slam dunk for you trustees. We implore you to hit the reject button as hard as you can on this. The reason for that, I don't know if I need to state the obvious or not, but there's a dark side to this. And that dark side is it's actually a surrender document that weakens your present empowerment as trustees to govern open space matters. It's a power grab. It confers unchecked authority to the supervisor to appoint and fire unelected people of unknown ideology on conservation and the environment. Who knows what they're going to do? Might we be looking at a diversion of open space resources? Better not take the chance. In your election campaigns, you all pledged to support open space. Now is the time to step up to the plate. Don't forfeit your trustee empowerment. It would feel much safer to leave open space matters in your hands. Finally, what really is the point of this document as written? There are no benefits apparent or stated in it, so we don't get it. It merely looks like playing politics with our open space. However, closing up, if sound advice on open space is the true objective for the supervisor, I can recommend some people who actually know what they're talking about. So let me know. Thank you.
Steve Keebler.
Good evening, board members. members, and supervisor. I'm Steve Keebler. I've been a Dundee Township Natural Areas volunteer since 1986. I want to talk briefly about one of the township's open space parcels, Snuffy's Prairie. And I want to talk about the time before it became the open space piece that our citizens know and enjoy today. I chose Snuffy's because its physical condition at the time of the township's purchase was typical of each of the purchases that followed. When purchased, every parcel now owned by the township was a dumping ground, abused by neighbors and the general public alike. The two pieces of land that make up what is now Snuffy's Prairie were separated by a 100-foot wide, quarter-mile-long strip of no man's land, strewn with automobile engines, car upholstery, tractor tires, miles and miles of twisted barbed wire and fence posts, empty fertilizer bags, kitchen appliances, drug paraphernalia, broken pieces of concrete, pressure tanks, dirty diapers, dumpings from barbecue grills, and the barbecue grills themselves. Mixed into this and holding it all together was a witch's brew of buckthorn, honeysuckle, bittersweet, box elder, thistles, and briars. The farmland portion of the future Snuffy's was even worse. It had been over-fertilized, over-herbicided, over-pesticided, sprayed with pre-emergence, post-emergence, doused with atrazine and other farm chemicals that leached into the groundwater. A 300-foot-long drain tile kept low areas from forming a pond. Erosion from wind, runoff from rain, and snow melt took a constant toll on what little topsoil remained. A neighbor showed his disdain for this abused land by driving hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of golf balls onto the land from his front yard. Volunteers, after much hard work and personal expense, eventually got Snuffy's and other township sites cleaned up. However, this brief history of the land begs the question, where were the people who are now proposing an open space task force? Thousands of volunteer hours and volunteer dollars were expended to get our open space lands into their present condition. Where exactly were the task force proponents? They certainly weren't anywhere to be seen during any of the cleanup efforts. They weren't even on the sidelines. Now, all of a sudden, when the trash has been cleaned up, when the farm poisons have stopped leaching into the ground, into the groundwater, when the slow healing of the land has begun, when a well-organized restoration program is in place, these task force planners show up to do what exactly? I can think of no good reason to create an open space task force. Got one more sentence. And I ask the board members to please vote no on the formation of an open space task force.
Or Sue Bennett. Sorry, Sue Bennett.
Supervisor Shaw, trustees, good evening.
In the microphone, Sue.
Microphone, okay. I urge you to vote no on creating a new open space task force. Dundee Township already has a strong open space program with clear, established goals, protecting natural lands, maintaining public access, and stewarding natural ecosystems. What is now needed is adequate funding for staff and on-the-ground projects to maintain and restore these lands, not a new layer of bureaucracy that will further delay much needed work. Township leadership should focus on existing priorities so long delayed projects can finally move forward. Not in my notes. I looked at the proposed budget for this coming up budget cycle. And the amount for the attorney in the budget is more than our open space. This is deplorable. I'm sorry, Attorney.
June Peebler?
June Keebler. I've lived in Dundee Township, feels like forever, but over 50 years.
Thank you. You got to talk it in the microphone.
Okay. Thank you. The citizens of Dundee Township have spoken loud and clear. They want open space for passive recreation, education, hiking, bird watching, nature walks, photography. This was affirmed in the open space referendum in 1996, as well as the 2001 survey conducted by the King County Planning Department for the township and with the township. A task force of 6 people should not be making decisions about open space that serve the 65,000 plus citizens of Dundee Township. The Dundee Board must retain oversight of the decisions about open space. Look for guidance in moving open spaces forward to the people who love and value open space for its many benefits to the community, not to the people that see open space only as a budget item to be manipulated for their causes. I urge you to vote no for creating the task force. Our open spaces are precious resources, providing our citizens with beautiful places to walk and wander, study insects, identify wildflowers, walk their dogs, enjoy the peace of nature, even the opportunity to get their hands dirty and work at healing our land. We do need more to enrich and restore our valuable resources of open land. We need more long-range planning, more grants to hire more contractors, more volunteers to help with the huge task of managing our 1,000 acres. But don't try to fix something that's not broken. Our open space lands are a gift, open to all the citizens of our township. We need to support them with efforts that will make our open spaces even better environmental resources that will continue to serve our community year after year after year. Thank you.
Cindy Doran?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cindy Doran. I've lived in Dundee Township for about 28 years. Raceway Woods, Junkie Creek, and most of all Snuffy's Prairie are all open space areas that myself and my family frequently visit and love. I feel peace and solitude walking through Snuffy's Prairie. I call it the place where I meet God. Breathe the clean air, smell the sweetness of many beautiful native plants, and share the beauty and euphoria of that. Walk through with my husband and my beloved dachshunds. I have to know for sure that we're heading there when I say want to go to Snuffy's, because my dogs go berserk when they hear the word. I sincerely cannot imagine this ever being changed, used for anything other than the simplicity of a wonderful walk. I urge the supervisor and anyone else who supports this new task force to experience the miracles of beauty and peace that these open spaces provide. Have you ever seen the volunteers who have spent countless hours, days, collecting seeds, replanting them, removing invasive plants, etc.? I keep these prairies and these lands looking beautiful and thriving as they are. I have so many times, and I'm grateful and appreciate all of what these volunteers provide. My son, who holds an environmental studies degree, recognizes Snuffy's Prairie as one of the most beautifully maintained and diverse prairies he has ever experienced. It is a true gift, and I want to give a big thank you to Steve and June Keebler and all the volunteers for all they do to keep Snuffy's so beautiful. You are seen and you are appreciated. Maybe instead of pushing for a task force to make possible changes and alternative uses for these precious open space lands, you could spend some time walking through and experience the miracles of the beauty that these lands provide. It is the ultimate self-care. Indulge yourself and then gather to determine ways to keep them protected. I don't support any alternative land use for our open space areas. I would choose to continue to walk my dogs through the walking paths rather than to use this precious land to put them in the ground. We, the voters, voted for open spaces. The beauty and serenity of our open spaces now, as they exist,
Ma'am, your time is up.
what we voted for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Travis Solberg.
Good evening. Thank you for everyone who's spoken and will speak on this matter. I think the matter is pretty clear to vote against the Open Space Task Force. So I'm going to talk about something else. First of all, I'm a 7 years here citizen, so relatively newer than most people here. I've worked in sustainability steward for a manufacturing company for 17 years. I'm a mindful meditation facilitator certified. This stuff is very near and dear to my life and how I lead my life. I live here for nature. The river, I live by the river, so the river flows through my soul. If I didn't have the river, then my life wouldn't be as fruitful. I wanted to mention something that I noticed, and since I have a experience with mindful meditation, I looked up the mental health board, and I saw there's a 3-year plan. The 3-year plan doesn't have anything in it that includes the open space. So I looked up on the web. It's easy to find. This is from Harvard. Exposure to green space results in mental restoration, increased positive emotions, and decreased anxiety and rumination. Improved mindfulness can also result from exposure to green space. It's linked to better sleep, lower blood pressure, and reduced risk of chronic disease. That's from Heather Eliason, Harvard. The American Psychological Association says spending time in nature is linked to both cognitive benefits and improvements in mood, mental health, and well-being. So I'd like to suggest the mental health board of the township to link together with the open space and see where that goes. Thank you.
Claire Britt.
Hi. Hello, everybody. This is good volume for you. Okay. My name is Claire, and I'm actually 2 years a resident of Dundee Township. I'm so happy to be here. And one of the reasons I chose Dundee was because of the open space program. And I asked the board to vote no on the task force. Mark Twain said, buy land. They aren't making any more of it. And I say, preserve land, protect land. They're not making any more of it. I've hiked through wildflower fields in Montana and have not seen a plane in the sky. I've sat on the shores of Lake Superior in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and have not seen a boat in the water. I've stood on the Appalachian mountaintops in western North Carolina and didn't hear a train in the distance. I've had deer walk through my campsite, and I've had eagles soar above me in the sky. The closest I ever get to God is through nature. And when you talk about taking open spaces, to me it feels like you're talking about taking my church. We need native plants and pollinators, not monetization. And I just wanted to let the board know that I was one of the 25% of people who showed up to vote for you. I voted for you because I thought our values and ideals were aligned. And I'm asking you to prove to me tonight that my voice and my vote matters and that democracy is still alive. This is your opportunity. Thank you.
Jared Sanchez.
Try to use my own timer. 6 minutes of material easily. Liz said no, you can't double. So, my name is Jared Sanchez, longtime resident of Dundee Township. Typically, I like to give public comments with words of positive words of encouragement, and I will have some words of encouragement. But first, Madam Supervisor, I'd like to express my frustration and disappointment in some of your actions and inactions with regards to the Mental Health Board. As we've heard last week, the Mental Health Board wasn't able to meet due to lack of a quorum. Why did they have a quorum? Because one person didn't show up. That's all it took to eliminate the quorum. Because there are 3 seats empty. There are 3 seats empty because you, Madam Supervisor, have failed to fill those seats. You've had 3 chances in the past month to do that. The first was at the last township meeting that was canceled. I'm told due to the potential fear of pushback from the public based upon your actions at the last Mental Health Board meeting. So that meeting was canceled. That was one opportunity. Second opportunity was a special meeting that trustees called because they weren't getting any transparency or information from you, and they were concerned that the business of the township wouldn't occur last month. They held a special meeting. The appointments weren't on the agenda. You had an opportunity then to amend the agenda. You failed to do that as well. So that's 2. After that meeting, you could have held your own special meeting. You called your own special meeting with the sole purpose of appointing those mental health board members. You did not. So it's 3 chances you had in the last month to avoid the mental health board's business not being conducted as it wasn't conducted last week. It's very frustrating as a former employee of the mental health board, but as somebody who has always been very supportive and wanting to see the mental health board do well because I know the great need that exists. Back to why the meeting didn't happen last week. One person didn't show up. And this concerns me because as a sitting Democrat, I'm concerned. I suspect that you may be colluding with members of the Republican Party to go after a known target of theirs, Ms. Sue Harney. Joe Connell is a member that wasn't present at the meeting last week. Meeting before that, when you came in trying to remove Sue Harney from the meeting with law enforcement unsuccessfully, you encouraged all the members to leave so that there wouldn't be a quorum, so that they couldn't conduct business. And Joe Connell was the only member of the mental health board that didn't. Gave him the benefit of the doubt. He left with you, okay. But last week he assured everybody, including myself, that he would be there. And he wasn't, which tells me at least that that was strategic. I think that is not a good look, especially for a sitting Democrat. And we need to really move past this because the mental health board has a lot of great work to be done. And it's made so much progress in the past few years and has still a long way to go, I think. So I just wanted to express those frustrations, those concerns. There are other things going on in the township that I could talk about, but please vote for good, qualified members of the mental health board tonight.
Mark Adler.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor, honorable trustees, and the clerk, and other township officials, Mr. Belak, and the members of the public. As some of you may know, definitely the board knows, my labor of love of serving on the Dundee Township Mental Health Board ended at the end of last year. And it generally was a labor of love. where we were when I was appointed to where the board has come after I left is night and day. And as President Pro Tempore Harney pointed out during the report, it was due to the fact that board members, past and present, working together, putting aside politics, putting aside partisanship, to bring to Dundee Township the services that were approved overwhelmingly 6 years ago. And I also voted for that too. I had the honor to serve for 3.5 years, all but 7 months of that as the president of the board. We started something here, but we're not there yet. And tonight, according to the agenda, we're going to hear whom Supervisor Shaw will appoint, and then we will see if the trustees will give advice and consent. While we're not talking a U.S. Senate confirmation hearing or a U.S. Senate confirmation vote, the trustees have a very important role in order to ensure that the qualified candidates that are put forward by Supervisor Shaw, her statutory authority, receive advice and consent. Basically, they are cleared to serve as honorable members of the Mental Health Board. There are 2 members who will be appointed for 4-year terms. Given what President Pro Tempore Harney just said about a January 29th special meeting, that means you need to make that appointment retroactive to January 1st, 2026, to be through the end of 2029. But there's also an unexpired term. One of the 3 vacancies is an unexpired term that goes through December 31st, 2027. So how Supervisor Shaw will be appointing and to which term, we will know shortly. I expressed that under the new provisions of the Community Mental Health Act, the Mental Health Board did give an advice recommendation for the 3 candidates who interviewed back on December 16th, Dr. Michelle Wright, Amber Cotter, and Don Arimura, one of the original 7 Mental Health Board members appointed in 2020. So I leave it to the Supervisor Shaw and the trustees work together, appoint the best members to the Mental Health Board possible. Thank you.
Hi friends, it's been a while.
Okay.
So I'm just going to reiterate basically much of what you've heard. Oh, I'm Courtney Bowe. Welcome. Thank you folks for being here. It's good to see all my friends out here. I'm going to touch on both the 2 topics, 708 Mental Health Board as well as open spaces. I don't know who the candidates are that you're going to be addressing tonight with the appointments for 708 Mental Health Board, but I was one of the early members on the board, also with Don Arimura, Paul Setz, and Mark Avalar actually was in the audience. We've all go a ways back. We all have difference of opinions, and it's been really encouraging to see what the 708 Mental Health Board has done over the years. But the rumor is that there's been campaigning for one of the current members to be reappointed, particularly one who simply says no, and it was based on the idea that we need to have somebody who can say no on the board and not have all yeses. I agree, oppositional voices absolutely help, but if you're simply saying no for the sake of being a contrarian, that's different than providing a different point of view and bringing some constructive feedback to the Mental Health Board. We were on it, I was on it early on, and when I left, the people that were appointed were just there to be contrarians, to just say no, to thwart the efforts of the Mental Health Board. I'm looking forward to you guys picking qualified candidates, people who have experience in Mental Health Board, who've been going to the meetings. I know Dr. Michelle Wright has been there since the very beginning, attending and paying attention. Don Arimura is a mental health therapist. I've also known her for 40 years, so I'm a little biased, but she has this experience in Bloomingdale and here in the township. So please pick qualified candidates and use your voice to say no if the appointments are not qualified. As for open spaces, I urge the Township Board to vote no on the task force. I appreciate that Supervisor Shaw is trying to organize and figure out where she stands with this new board, but when something is working, don't mess it up. And also, I'm sorry, I've worked with these guys for 2 years now. The manner in which it was done, Supervisor Shaw, was poor. The people who've come in to critique the open spaces have never been out there, don't know what the work has been doing. These people have been literally cultivating metaphorically and literally past 20 years, these open spaces, and I don't think anybody stopped to ask them or sit down with the paperwork. If there's no paperwork from prior years, maybe that's a reflection of the administration and their poor running of maintaining records and following up with the open spaces. I wouldn't fault the tens, dozens, hundreds of volunteers who've been doing all this work, blood, sweat, and tears, out in the sun, out in the rain, out in the cold, and then have the audacity to pull in 5 people and tell them what to do. Professionals, they know the money, they know the grants. Use them, work with them, and please support them. Don't suppress their efforts. Thank you very much.
That's it.
Okay. All right, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you speaking here tonight. I just want to clarify that the task force is advisory. It
Into the
has.
microphone. That was my.
Okay, I just want to let you know that the task force is advisory. It has no power. It has no ill will. It is just a few residents who want to have a voice in a different matter, not be out there, but be inside here to look over a program that's 30 years old, to align it with the law, align all the invoices, and look for further grants, look for further opportunities to where we can further restore. They don't have any malice. I think all residents should have a voice, and that's all they're here to do. All they would have done is they would have made recommendations to the board. So there was no change ever spoken of. And I'm sorry that, that is what was reiterated to you. In fact, I would actually even I was going to appoint Trustee Drake as the chair, but I wouldn't mind appointing Trustee Harney as the chair either. But with that said, we're going to move to the next part of this meeting. And that's going to be approval of resolution to establish an open space task force. We heard from Nancy Zettler and Dave Reese regarding this item earlier. A draft resolution and a mission statement was also included in the board packet. Is there a motion to approve the resolution to establish an open space task force as presented?
Hearing none, we'll move on.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of resolution to adopt a policy providing for additional service under Dundee Township General Assistance Program. Is there a motion to approve the resolution to adopt a policy providing for additional service under Dundee Township? Okay, hearing none, we will move on. And we'll close that part.
On to appointments.
Okay, we will move to appointments.
You went past it. Did you not?
No, it's the last page.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then just put. Yeah. Almost as bad as I am at math.
So I wanted to make a statement. I am not anti-mental health board. The opposite is true. It has been mismanaged since its inception. My goal is to fix that. I want it to function well so that it can finally do its job, which is what the voters want. I do not want to make this political, but Mr. Avlar is a Republican and has failed at managing this board for quite some time, yet he's supported quite well. So with that, we will move on. And the next item on the new business is approval of mental health board appointments. Pursuant to the Community Mental Health Act, the members of the Community Mental Health Board shall be appointed by the supervisor of a township with the advice and consent of the township board. There are 2 vacancies to be filled, and my appointees will be filled for a 4-year term. The first vacancy I have appointed is Mr. Kemp, who has been a long-time resident and served this community and saved a significant amount of money. Is there a motion to approve the appointment? Okay, so we will move on.
Yeah, so just to be clear, so is there a motion? Because I want to make sure that the recording and the record is clear. If there's not a motion, that's okay. I just want to make sure everybody heard the question.
Okay.
Sounds like no.
Okay. So for the second vacancy, I have appointed Mr. Ken Schaefer as a member of the Dundee Township Community Mental Health Board. He is educated with a degree in business administration as well as a focus on healthcare. And he has been a longtime board member as well as an active member of the community. Is there a motion? Okay. So there is no motion. We will come back next month with recommendations again.
You can recommend other people now, actually.
Yeah, you can recommend other people, like the four people who are qualified.
All right, everybody. Order. We've been here for a very long time. Don't shut out. The supervisor's open tomorrow. You can come in and see her tomorrow.
We would like to fill those seats, though.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah, the board would like.
We have four excellent
We ran
candidates.
on campaigns of getting people on the board that are going to be, that are qualified in mental health services, and we would like to hear some different appointments.
They should also be qualified with fiscal
I'll
responsibility,
say
but
so quickly, and I don't want to get into this argument tonight, right? But the qualifications are very low, right? It's lived experience with mental health, so it's not a matter of qualification. I think at this point, I mean, I think it's up to the supervisor to make other appointments. But the statute, right? The statute is the supervisor makes the appointments.
We also didn't get.
Change the law. Vote.
We also
Go
did
call your
not
legislator.
get any of these resumes from Shafali. It took the 708 board to send them to us, and we didn't receive Ken Schaefer's until, what was it, yesterday?
Sure.
was it requested?
It should have been sent.
Were the resignations sent to me?
The resignations?
Their policy, or their...
They should have been sent to the appointed and to the appointed officer. They were not sent either.
Okay.
All right
Either
then.
way.
Okay, let's move forward. I will close that
It would be nice
portion
if
of
you
the.
appointed different.
Negligence.
To fill those seats, per the law.
Okay. So the next item on the
So we can
agenda.
just call a special meeting then?
You can't,
Sure, at
but you can't make
$800,
appointments, though.
about $800
You have to approve
at
the
cost payers tab. Sure.
Do you want to go over attorney fees?
We should.
$100,000?
Sure, we should. We absolutely should.
$100,000.
Experience.
Okay, so the next
So
one's going
next
to be
item on
approval
the
of.
agenda is the, we're going to old
Approval
business.
of.
What is it, old business next?
No, it's approval of meetings.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes of November 19, 2025.
So moved.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion was made by trustee Harney and seconded by trustee Day. Is there a discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Day?
Yes.
Trustee Drake?
Yes.
Trustee Fixmer?
Yes.
Trustee Harney?
Yes.
Supervisor Shaw?
Yes. Okay, the motion carries and the minutes are approved as presented. The next item on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes, executive session, November 19, 2025. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is made by trustee Day and seconded by trustee Fixmer. Is there a discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Day?
Yes.
Trustee Drake?
Yes.
Trustee Fixmer?
Yes.
Trustee Harney?
Yes.
Supervisor Shaw?
Yes. Okay, so the motion carries and the minutes are approved as presented. The next item is approval of special meeting minutes on December 26, 2025. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is made by trustee Day and seconded by trustee Harney. Is there a discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Day?
Yes.
Trustee Drake?
Yes.
Trustee Fixmer?
Yes.
Trustee Harney?
Yes.
Supervisor Shaw?
Yes. The motion carries and the minutes are approved as presented. Okay, the next item is approval of treasurer's report. Okay, with us this evening is Mr. Tom Coughlin. Mr. Coughlin, thank you for being here. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. So we're 10 months into our fiscal year. We finished that out at the end of February. In terms of revenue, the township has brought in just over $5 million of revenue. That's 89% of the total, our budgeted revenues for the year. Across the board, all various funds and departments are contributing. We received 98% of our tax dollars that we budgeted for, So on the revenue side, everything is looking really good as we round out towards the end of the year. On the expense side, total expense is about $3.8 million. That's 68% of budget expenses, so we're trending about 15% lower than we'd expect to be at this time of the year, which is really good so far. Same thing, each fund and department is below where we'd expect them to be at this point in the year. So currently, with 2 months left in the fiscal year, we're sitting at a deficit, or a surplus of $1,172,802, and that gives the township an ending fund balance of $6,089,280. We'll look with 2 months left without property taxes coming in, or we've received all the property taxes, excuse me. We'll spend that down slightly, but it's looking like everything is pointing to another really good year for the township financially. Looking at our various bank accounts, we're sitting at a cash balance there of about $6.2 million in total. Do you want me to go to the bills now, the totals, or wait until the next slide?
Audit and approvals?
Slide.
Yeah,
Right.
nice, yes.
So if there's any questions, then maybe.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve treasurer's report as presented?
I'll motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is made by trustee Day and seconded by trustee Harney. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Day?
Yes.
Trustee Drake? Yes. Trustee Fixmer?
Yes.
Trustee Harney?
Yes.
Supervisor Shaw?
Yes, the motion carries and the treasurer's report is hereby approved as presented. The next item is audit and approval of bills. We have 2 sets of bills this evening, given the rescheduling of the board meeting last month. Mr. Coughlin, can you please present the bills for December 2025 and January 2026?
Sure. So for December of 2025, the 708 Mental Health Board total bills were $69,661.17. Cemetery was
Could you give us a page number that you're working off of?
So these numbers would have been the list of bills from the November financial report.
Which is there a page number?
I don't know for sure. Last month it would have been paid.
This is December. That must be before this, okay. Can you find that? Because I see the December bills, I don't see the others. Oh, wait, here we
November?
go. Capital.
Do you want to see mine?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to see mine?
What's the page number? Where are you at?
It was under the tab
I think it's under January.
Okay, I've got the-
DT summary, November 30th, 2025.
Okay, I've got the November financial statements.
Yeah, so it would, I showed page 29, but that's another PDF. It would be starting after the check listing. It's department by department.
Okay, and mental health is first.
Yes, the mental health.
I got it. Okay, thank you.
$69,661.17. Cemetery was $3,984.55. The township in total, which includes open space supervisor, assessor, was $33,644.71. The road district was $211,480.25, and the GA was $2,000 even. So a total last month bills of $320,770.98. For this month, 708 board, or mental health board, is at $11,218.57. The cemetery is at $14,580.51. The township in total, $158,250.14. Road district is at $32,958.60. GA, $918.39, for a total of $217,926.21.
Okay, is there a motion to approve payment of payroll and bills of Road District, General Assistance, Mental Health Board, and Town Fund as presented? Is there a second?
I'll second.
The motion is made by trustee Day and seconded by trustee Harney. Is there a discussion?
Yes, there is. I want to make note of our legal expenses for a 3-month period are $96,697. That is an appalling amount of legal services, with all due respect. Mark is a
No, I
wonderful man.
understand. So I will say, so there was an overpayment on that. So it was our bill, there was unpaid bills. And when our bills send out, they show an accumulated balance. And that amount was the amount that was paid. So it's about half of that for a number of overpaid bills. So
Okay.
not that, you know,
That would be really good information for us to have, because we budgeted $75,000 for legal last year, and I believe we're at $170,000 now. That is absolutely, and I want to make a point earlier, because this bill for $96,697, we could have hired a community service organization to conduct a community survey with people who are qualified to not only write questions, but are qualified to ask the right questions. We did that with the mental health board for $25,000 last year. We also could have hired a land management person who has gone to college and has a degree in land management and restoration and has experience for between $60,000 and $80,000 a year. We are instead spending our money on legal services. Our budget is up this year. The budget that I saw, which was posted last night, so we haven't had a long time to look at it, there was $35,000 in there for open space restoration. All of you out there are taxpayers. I hope you will watch what we do, and I hope you will let us know what you think of the decisions that we are making. I personally am appalled at the level of legal expenses this township is undertaking. We are not in we're not in a lawsuit. We're not pursuing a lawsuit anymore. We were before, and so there was some kind of rationale for that level of legal spending. That simply is not here now. Thank you.
Is there an Supervisor Shaw, is there an explanation for that?
So I'm going to pass a comment here that it is good to ask questions to the attorneys before making substantial decisions. Ms. Adami, for example, was resigned officially, but she still sat here and had a quorum that particular day. Anyways, so do we have a motion to...
708 board.
The motion
She
is...
didn't answer the question.
Is there a motion to approve the tentative or...
the bills, there's a motion pending. There was discussion, and now you'll get a roll call to approve the bills as presented.
Hang on, so there is this one here right now.
No, so you're on the bills. She's gonna do a roll call.
Madam Clerk?
Trustee Day?
Yes.
Trustee Drake? Yes. Trustee Bicksworth?
It's right at the beginning.
Trustee Harney?
Yes.
Supervisor Shaw?
Yes. Okay, the motion carries. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of tentative fiscal year 2026 amended budget and appropriations ordinance. Do we have a motion?
I move to table this for another meeting because we got this. It was posted last night on the township website. I discovered it sometime during the day, and there are no comparisons with in context for the budget numbers that we were given. In other words, until I walked in today, I did not see a list of what we spent last year, you know, what we budgeted last year, and what the projection is for this year. So my motion is to table this so the trustees have time to review this and perhaps get additional information.
Trustee, if I may, and your criticism is well noted, I understand the timing concern, but as a matter of timing, we need 30 days to approve this amendment to the budget. So this is a cleanup budget because this board didn't prepare this budget, right? And so we talked, I think, at the December meeting about doing a cleanup amendment. And so in order to get that passed and not be in violation of the law, we would need to adopt that tonight. and put the notice out tomorrow for next month. You do have 30 days to review it. Anytime you changes can be made. So you have 30 days for full input, and Tom is shaking his head. So it's, yeah, you know,
Just to establish
no,
the draft,
agree.
I'm
Yeah.
happy to make any
Okay.
changes. or
A lot more information is what I
Yeah,
need.
Right. So,
Then I would withdraw my motion to table.
So is there a motion to approve the tentative fiscal year 2026 amended budget and appropriations ordinance as presented? Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion is made by trustee Harney and seconded by trustee Day. Is there any further discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Day?
Yeah.
Trustee Drake?
No.
Trustee Fixmer?
Yes.
Trustee Harney?
Yes.
Supervisor Shaw?
Yes. The motion carries and a tentative fiscal year 2026 amended budget and appropriations ordinance is approved as presented. The next item is, on the new business, is approval of tentative fiscal year 2027 budget and appropriations. Mr. Coughlin, would you like to present a report?
Could we take a small break? It's been 2 hours since we've been.
We're almost done,
if we want to
actually.
table this, and the next one, then we're done.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, it's up to you if you want to,
No, wait, what?
if you want to let Tom present it, if you want to table it. I'm not forcing you to do anything.
Then I would like to table, I will move to table this.
So I'll say, and again, there's no discussion, so that pains me to do this on a motion to table, but so everybody knows and so the board knows, you don't have to adopt your next fiscal year budget until June, right? Till the end of the first quarter, so there's time. So if you want more time on this, that's fine, take 30 days and we can do this one next month, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So my move is to table?
Yes. So is there so trustee Harney made a motion to table it, okay?
No
So
discussion, so we
no
can do a roll call.
discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Day?
Yes.
Trustee Drake?
Yes.
Trustee Fixmer?
Yes.
Trustee Harney?
Yes.
Supervisor Shaw?
Yes. The next item is executive session, but I don't think we need it,
No,
right?
you're skipping one, so the next one
Okay. Adjournment?
is the declaration of surplus property to be transferred
Oh,
to the road
right,
district.
very important, sorry, yes.
So, I'm going to just quickly
Yes,
go over that.
please.
So, in the interest of time, so what this is the township, my understanding is owns a skid steer. It's very old. The road district owns a skid steer. The road district is going to sell that skid, it's old.
We don't have a skid steer. We have a Kubota. Oh, okay, go ahead.
You're
Sure,
going to
sure.
confuse me. Has
That's
a
fine.
piece of equipment, right, that is old, and so the township is going to purchase from, at a good, fair rate from the road district, an old machine, a skid steer, is that correct? That it has, and so it would be, the township is going to give the old piece of equipment that it has to the road district to trade in, so it's like a trade-in. But in order to give property away, right, or trade property in, the board has to declare it surplus, that's what the statute says. So that's what this is, and you can talk what the numbers are. I think that it's a fairly substantial discount
Yes.
that the township will get for giving that to the road district to trade in, so it gets a discount.
So we're still working, so, okay, so, we got a few quotes, and we're working on one, actually, that should be coming in tomorrow, but we are expecting the quotes to be anywhere between $6,000 and $7,500 for these two items that we will be surplusing that they can trade in. Road district, that is.
Are we gonna replace those?
Well, no, not those items, no.
What are they exactly?
Kubota and a JCB.
What's that?
Ford.
So we have two dig backhoe. So what they are, they're front loaders and diggers.
Okay.
We have a Ford one from like 1994 or something like that hardly turns on. But when it does, it works, you know? So it worked the last time we did turn it on. Then we have a JCB. That's the one that we put some money into, but constantly has problems. So we're looking to use that skid steer from the road district in place of that JCB. That way we don't have to put any more money to it, because honestly, it's an okay piece of equipment, not good enough to continue to put money into it. Honestly, it's just a waste of money.
But the surplus is not for anything else, it's just simply for us to allow the road district to be able to trade those items in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to approve the declaration of surplus property to be transferred to road district as presented.
No motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion is made by trustee Day and seconded by trustee Fiximer. Is there a discussion?
I'd like to say that we didn't receive anything on this either, but we can move on.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Day?
Yes.
Trustee Drake?
Yes.
Trustee Fixmer?
Yes.
Trustee Harney?
Yes.
Supervisor Shaw?
Yes. Okay, the motion carries as presented. Okay, so the next item is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is made by trustee Harney and seconded by trustee Day. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed and abstentions? The ayes, no, okay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned at 9:08 p.m.
That wasn't so bad.
It was terrible.
You know what Michael will say?
Thank you guys for coming.